Hello and welcome. I'm Erin, and we're playing some more. I've already forgotten. Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright. It's almost as if we haven't been playing this for a few months or whatever. Although that does remind me, I haven't changed the title in a while, so the part number is a little behind, but that's all right. Oh, and before we get started, I wanted to say thank you to Zombie Kaiju for the follow. They're a really awesome plushie maker. They make handmade plushies that are incredible. I met them at Retropalooza last year, and their work is so impressive, and y'all should definitely check them out. And yeah, so last time on here, we basically unlocked Marshall's tragic backstory, and then caused a bit of an uproar in the courtroom, getting Lana to admit to some shenanigans in the investigation of the SL6 incident. We're probably gonna go over it flashback style in coming up, but yeah, that's where we're at. Ooh, and I see a hello in chat. Hello and welcome. I also got a hot drink, so hopefully my voice won't die so quickly like it did last time. Alright. February 24th, 3:12 p.m., Wright & Co. Law Offices. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. There's the flashback style I was talking about. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means you... Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. I didn't see that one coming. It was in the files, Phoenix. We read it earlier. What do you mean you didn't know about this? Where is it? Oh, wait, yeah, no, wait, how do I go back? There we go. See, it says witness is Emma Skye right there, Phoenix. Check your eyeballs. Okay, continue talking to her. SL9 incident. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together when she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Joe Dark. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage. But before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then... what happened? Phoenix, you know what happened. I'll never forget it. Lightning struck, and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. A permanent picture. I see in chat the LOL. Poor Phoenix, doomed to be clueless even when the answers are right in front of him. The curse of being the player analog. After the incident. I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No. I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why why she made up the crime. Made up? Or made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted the guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence, and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true. Even though he may not have known it, Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold, like she is today. Like that prickly cactus that was so sad. She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. Permanent picture. What did you see in the instant that the crime occurred? Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma. You've been through so much. She's just a child. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago. You must have been 14. That's understandable. Ow. I just hit my tooth with my mug. Sorry if you could hear that through the mic. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. Something puzzling. Something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at the time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? And shout out, ouch, I could hear that hitting your teeth. Yippee, it's immortalized forever. Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor? Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? No, by my mom. I don't know what that means. Of course, this happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. I thought that the prosecutor's office and the police department were in different buildings. Where did, like, when we went over there, didn't they say it took like a half hour to get there or something? I'm confused. But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Yeah. Maybe it is super far apart. Oh, never mind. They're right next to each other. Because the detective offices in the questioning room are right across from the elevator. Wait, was Lana a detective? Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the details already. Because she was investigating the SL6 incident, but I couldn't remember if she was a detective on it. Right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? Well, Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly. Didn't I tell you? Okay, so we were just missing information. Okay, that makes more sense. 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. How did she get promoted to chief prosecutor so quickly then? I feel like there's like a lot of the detectives getting moved up and down because of that incident. And that makes me go, She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. Me too, Phoenix. At least I'm on the same page with you on this one. After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lana used to be a detective? I'd better have another talk with her. I feel like we need to talk to her regardless because of all the stuff that she admitted to earlier. Alright. So we are wanting to go to talk to her immediately, it seems. February 24th, Detention Center Visitors Room. But Lana! Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. It was so shocking that I couldn't even say it right. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago, and how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? Yeah, because that's not even within the same department like what happened to Marshall. She straight up changed whole careers. I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. Also in reference to the detectives being shifted around with the "it's all coming together" parentheses, or is it, in chat. I'm sure there's gonna be more twists and turns before we get to the end, as is the Ace Attorney way. Today's trial. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. I almost demoted him further. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana, that the witness, what the witness, Miss Starr, said. About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife? Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so fazed before. Oh, for sure. And chat with the I was just gonna say that there will be more dramatic reveals and plot twists in this case. Detective Lana Skye. It's true. I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant did, or cracked together. Chief Gant? He was the deputy chief of the police back then, but he still worked on the crime scenes. Damon Gant. He was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved cases before the reports could even be filed. Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're the chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes, so you could use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Oh yeah, it's not the total career change, because in here, like, the police and the prosecution are, like, very closely linked, so I guess they are kind of connected career-wise. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. The Dark investigation. It's so dark. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command? That means the investigation was led by Damon Gant, right? Yes. Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. So when Dark broke into her office, he was also breaking into Gant's office? They even had the same office. That's what I'm saying. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That's when his final murder took place. When he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. First one at the scene. Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages, and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down and then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. What? Wait, how did he die? When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies? I guess we don't know if Dark is dead or not. Prosecutor Marshall, the victim, Emma, who had passed out, and a suspect, Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her, after all her sister must have gone through. She's just a child. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident? Yes, Phoenix! That's right. Quite a coincidence, I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Phoenix, you literally had a trial just like that happen 2 months ago. Just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall, yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of the case. Everyone has to live with the rest of their lives with their memories. That case might not. Oh my gosh. That case just might not be over yet. I need to just like start reading it, like trying not to get it perfect. I keep tripping over things. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, at the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies himself, the chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. Alright, bye! Wait, how do we get there? Okay, I think we're supposed to go back to our office and then get there from there. Oh well, February 24th, police station, criminal affairs department. I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere. Seems kind of quiet around here today. You're right. The chief of detectives seems the same though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right. We can come back here later. Hint, hint. Oh, we can get there from here. Cool. February 24th, police department entrance. It's him! Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall! I never thought things would turn out this way when I woke up this morning. Que sera? How do I say that with the accent? Que sera, sera, whatever. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I should have known my luck when I I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I need to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Do you want to look at our badge? I don't know. Have we shown him our badge before? Mr. Marshall, could you please have a look at this? I don't think he's gonna look at it. Sorry, Bambina. I'm not a patrolman anymore, and I certainly ain't a detective. I'm nothing more than a wanted man now. These old eyes of mine have seen too much as it is. Alright, fair enough. It was such a good line with the chat says, I keep thinking of Emma asking if Marshall's from Texas, and him going, no, I just saw a program about it on TV. It was so good. The Dark Trial. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with a broken tip? That was Joe Dark's alright. But the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there's a good chance that the knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL9 incident left behind. We'll get to that later, Emma. Prosecutor Marshall. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. Had just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he? Your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. How old are you? Hang on. I need to know who's the big brother and who's the little brother. Okay, 33, so he's older by 4. Because he would have been 31 at the time. Oof. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You mean the King of Prosecutors? I knew it. What are you looking at me like that for? It's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. We got 2 pairs of siblings, except we're hearing more from the older brother and the little sister. The day of the SL9 incident took place. That wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the day of the evidence transfer. So much gasping. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. Can't believe 2 years have already gone by. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently, someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. Scars. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? They did something to him too. The commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Gant and Skye! Investigation lead Damon Gant and his second in command, Lana Skye. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard that duo. That case was the biggest step in both their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yep. Yep! Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She has never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Scott was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina. Her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. Lana's secret. It all started 2 years ago. There you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Patooey! Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Oh, that's sad. Adios, Bambina. No. Gotta end it on a sad note, didn't you? I guess Cowboys always gotta have the sad endings. Not always, but many of them. Let's see, where do we want to go next? Okay. It's so quiet! February 24th, Police Station Criminal Affairs Department. This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media in tomorrow's trial. There's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir? I'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. He's so chill about just having these two non-police people go up to check out the chief of police's office. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we got. Oh, don't tell them just because they're questioning it. I was gonna go anyway. Oops. You're gonna let us go just because we are with the police? Hey, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. See, you didn't have to question him, Emma. You just get his directions and said permission and just head over to the office and it would have been fine. Oh, in reference to Marshall, then now he's got to ride off into the sunset. Riding off to the sunset of the interrogation room. Turning himself in. Chief's office. Whoa. Sorry, I'm like looking around and everything. Says, February 24th, Police Department, Chief's Office. Oh, and I also noticed the floor tiling is the prosecutor's badge. Isn't it? I can't remember. I think so. But he's the chief of police, so I guess it's like a part of the police force. As I clicked, I saw the holy shit in chat. Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Also, the mix of like the churchy aesthetics and the modern decor is like the way it clashes is so interesting. Quote unquote interesting. I see in chat that that's quite an office. It sure is. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me. I never could remember where C was. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant! He put that paper he was reading in his desk. Did he not know? Wait. They walked into his office where he was sitting at his desk reading a paper and he just didn't say anything as we waltzed in chatting about everything until Emma pressed a key on the organ. What's with the security in this place? Put the paper he was reading in his desk. I bet we're gonna steal it later. So, righto, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kinda busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's misconduct. And Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies! I see a child and a suit of armor? You know, normal things for a chief of police to have to decorate his office. See that big picture on the wall over there? Hey, it's the armor! It's just sneaking into the photo like, hello. That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something Something's not right with this picture. Can't quite seem to put my finger on it though. I know what it is, but I'm not gonna say what. There's actually 2 things I noticed. Actually 3 things. Yep. Gant team picture. Photo at the awards ceremony of Gant, Lana, and Neil. Added to the court record. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that require my attention. I'm gonna lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh, but this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. Especially having, because, like, he was always a little creepy, but then now we have Marshall telling us he's not to be trusted, so I think it's pretty clear that he's hiding something at this point. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. Well, when you call it a quote-unquote crime scene, it's not helping your case much. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. Breaking through the window. We're just gonna go back inside. February 24th, Police Station, Criminal Affairs Department. Hey, pal. Detective Gumshoe. Aren't you supposed to be in a meeting? I'm just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From sitting so long? Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Sounds... excuse me. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battles between you two in court. Oh, they're flirting with him? That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. That's fine though. Edgeworth's crisis. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Yeah, but they can't prove that just based on him saying, I didn't know it was forged. Lana Skye is the guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, the prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor has kept them safe from those who don't like him. But now, with this, are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know for making enemies. Hey Dick, keep up the good work! Yes, sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes, sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay, Dick? Yes, sir. Seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edwards just might crack. SL9 incident. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything? The only evidence Dark left behind during his final attack, or was during his final attack. His final attack? You mean when he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl? Me. Seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written in here, okay? Somewhere. His powers of recollection never fails to impress. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory. Right now? Well, let's talk about... I keep wanting to call him Drake. I think I'm a little bit dyslexic. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. Businessman? What made him take on serial killing? One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. With his car? So, it was an accident. An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. An animal? He killed a man that witnessed the accident. Then he killed a lady who saw that one, and a kid walked by and he killed him too, and then Jogger came on the scene and got killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in. Jeez. Seems like he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. That last quote-unquote witness, aka Emma. Okay, now we can show him. Not that murder weapon. The other murder weapon. This one. About this. Hey, is that... It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker. And was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it! Now I remembered what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what was it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. Oh, what a mood. Talk. Murder weapon. This knife. It was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at. Plus, it had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you can see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice that. Yeah, well, anyway. Take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. It was found deep inside a stab wound. Did it match Dark's knife? You bet. Down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Neil's autopsy report. Stabbed in the back, died from punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was in the wound. Wow, it got through to both his heart and lung? Is that common for stabbing in that region? Neil's autopsy report added to the court record. And then the switchblade knife was updated. The broken tip was found inside the victim's body, belonged to the murderer, Joe Dark. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gam. It's not money, but it does concern the chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The chief's out now, and his office is locked. But we'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door. What? Really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust. Breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh. Sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. That's exactly what I was thinking. Aww. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Oh. So in other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting into that office. Unless we steal another one. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind. What could we show him? Oh geez, I wish I had a guide with those right in front of me I could look at. Oh, we don't have anything right now. Okay, we gotta move it first. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and chat with it, and is the switchblade long enough to cause that deep of a wound? Actually, does it? I was wanting to see if it gives any more details on his autopsy report. Name of deceased, Neil Marshall, 27 male. Date and time of death, February 19th, between 7 and 7:30. Cause was a single stab wound piercing the heart/lung. Assessment, died from blood loss in under 10 minutes. Weapon found and wound was missing tip. There's no specifics about how deep the stab was apart from it piercing the heart/lung. February 27th, prosecutor's office, underground parking lot. No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into exactly what went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. We proved in court today that, on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. But instead it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've gotta find all the answers by tomorrow. Oh, we're going to Edgeworth. We're going to Edgeworth. February 24th, High Prosecutor's Office. Room 1202. I wonder if Edgeworth is back yet. There he is. Looks like he's writing something. What are you doing here? He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. I'm just imagining Phoenix, like, with Edgeworth in full view, just going to pick up the paper anyway, because it's not like he's subtle about investigating anything ever. Tough day in court, huh? Huh. I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So, what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. Forged evidence. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to. Nothing I do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean, the evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error. My responsibility as the prosecutor in charge. The fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have. Mr. Edgeworth, I take pride in my work. So tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Tomorrow's trial. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? Huh. First last year's trial, and now this one. Seems all you do is worry about me. I just want to be like, oh, you don't know the half of it. But we'll get to that later. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow is the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's why my superiors... Whoa, where'd that come from? I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists run twice this long. It's only half as long as most lists? That is odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigations, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture. Something seems strange about it. But first, the day of the crime. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right? I never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this? Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on a ceremony. I don't know. Ask Laura Bailey about that. I don't know if she ended up winning that award, but I always talk about it, but I love when she was it a BAFTA she was nominated for when they were still doing Critical Role Live, and she ended up leaving before her category was announced so that she could go play D&D with her friends. That was like such an iconic moment. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yes, just odds and ends, clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back. take something back. This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So, you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you? That's right. Now that we're officially suspicious of Gant, seems like he was moving him around for reasons. I'm guessing this is what we want to show? This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes. That trophy that Mr. Marshall is holding is a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. Ah, I remember now. Remember what? That was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award is based on. Tell us more. King of Prosecutors Trophy. Not very inclusive, is it? This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard of this story? Me? Oh, sure, everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it though for Emma's sake? Very well. Smooth Phoenix. Long ago, in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day, he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd. He claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was the shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Wait a minute. Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive. But then again, you've heard this story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very description of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless. And thus, the Chinese word for contradiction was born. That's so cute. Just the interaction between the 2 of them. Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and the broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words, but it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion. Even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow, thanks Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant. 2 years ago, the halberd was removed at Gant's behest, giving it its current form. Oh. Wait, I think that's gonna end the conversation, but I want to look around a little bit. He won such a prestigious award. Why would he just leave it on the couch? Yeah, you'd think he'd want to show this thing off more than that giant steel samurai. You would be wrong, Phoenix. What is it? This is the King of Prosecutors Award, right? Of course it is. You know that. I saw something today that looked like this somewhere. Something that looked like that? Yeah, only different. Now where was that? She's right. Something is amiss here. Maybe I should show Edward that item. We already did, it's fine. Look at his laptop! Work desk. It's quite tidy, as one might expect. What a nice desk. Easy to use and easy on the eyes. It's polished so high I can see my own reflection. I think we got this one before. Strange. Why did I just picture Detective Gumshoe? Maybe I'll take that name plaque as a souvenir. Yeah, don't, he'll sue you. Okay, we'll pick up the paper now. I wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright. Let's take a look while he's standing right there. Are you crazy? Edgeworth is sitting right there. Just distract him. I'll check it out. Hey Edgeworth. Wink wink. Is that Detective Gumshoe out on the window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground! Hold on. First let me see what this girl's doing crawling around my feet. He didn't even look. What? Letter of... If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says, letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, Wright. I feel as if something inside me has died. But, Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I walked hasn't been just one. It hasn't been a just one. Excuse me. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Uh-oh. I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation. I wonder if I can use it for anything. You're gonna put it in your pocket? You put it in his pocket. Phoenix. Letter of resignation. Edgeworth's discarded letter of resignation. He's serious. Oh, I know what we're gonna use it for. Oh, we can't talk to him anymore. We're just gonna leave him with that hanging on his mind. I guess it was hanging on his mind before we came into... February 24th, Prosecutor's Office, underground parking lot. Excuse me. Okay. Would either of you care for a quarter-pound of roast beef? Miss Star, I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? I see in chat with the, I see how it's gonna be used, and LOL, we realize at the same moment. You're certainly the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. I don't think people had to do that. You could just watch the babies drinking the milk and then put two and two together. Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but a murder occurred on the very day the evidence from... Wait. Okay, it's because it trails off. The very day the evidence from that case was due for transferal. This can't be attributed to mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know, that little scene I happened to witness. The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten. Miss Star's hatred towards Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Should give the roast beef to Marshall. Dark investigation. Joe Dark. And that's the name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than when I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though. Must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her. Lana Skye. My sister? The best of the best were put on the SL9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duo. Alana and Chief Gant. After case closed, that legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. You mean with the forging of the evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret. But you don't have proof that anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us save Goodman were relieved of our duties. Most without so much as an exclamation. Then, Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. Lana always wanted to be prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. She was being used. Let's back up to the legendary duo. Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Gant led the investigation with Lana second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal. His magnetism? By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He'd produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Incredible evidence? You mean... Oh yes. Hey, that was in parentheses blue. You weren't supposed to hear that. There were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him, though. Oh, wow, my voice. No one dared confront him, though. I'll take it she's talking about forged evidence. Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh, yes. Myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked, and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall... When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would have ever recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Miss Starr... That's why. I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Being used. Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief... Chief... I thought she was gonna say more. That's right. Having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control. And then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutors? The prosecutor's office. Ooh. See, this case does like a really good job of exploring this this world's corruption of the police force, because that's always been a very important factor of the way this whole, like, all the conflict in this world works. What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred? If he can control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know. But one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude. There must have been a reason for her change. At last. I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Star. You listen to me, Ricky. It takes more than just ingredients to create a fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. Thanks! I think we can go back to Gumshoe. Oh, I wanted to go boop boop! February 24th. Police Station, Criminal Affairs Department. Oh, you're back. You're still here? I gotta make 150 copies of these files. Oof. Brewing coffee, copying files, turning into a regular DJ. You're a DJ as well? If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Oh, that DJ. No, DJ from Full House. I gotta admire your persistency, but my answer is still no. I'm not letting you in the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line. That office is the last crime scene in the SL9 incident. I have to take a look in there. There's gotta be something we can do to make the detective change his mind. You see in chat that this totally fictionalized corruption of the police and justice system. Yeah! And it totally wasn't inspired by Japan's situation either. And it's not like that kind of system proliferates among different different countries or anything. Here we go. Your best buddy that you want to save and protect? Wait, where's the button? There we go. What's this crumpled up piece of paper? No way! Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious! Is he ever not serious? Can't believe they pushed him this far. Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible. When I first met him, I thought he was cold as ice too. But I know different now. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence. But we betrayed him. Detective. That's it. I made up my mind. But... Here, take my ID card. We can't do that. If someone found out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. Look at me. It's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. What? So at least let me do this. For Mr. Edgeworth's sake. Alright, detective. Thank you. Gumshoe's ID tucked swiftly into pocket. Gumshoe's ID, a police department ID card, allows access to areas of the PD open to detectives. Do you have anything else? Nope. Okay. Let's sneaky sneak then. February 24th, Police Department Chief's Office. That wasn't supposed to be one sentence. Here goes, Mr. Wright. We're in. Hacker voice. If anyone finds us now, Detective Gumshoe's a goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Gah! Don't smack him again! Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. Didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Ah, Detective Gumshoe. Phoenix just had a really delayed reaction. What are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, then what's the point in giving us your ID card? Wait, no, why would you do that? Gumshoe's ID card. Wait, Gumshoe's ID crushed and rendered unusable in pocket. Hey, don't do that to my card. Why, Phoenix? That was so mean. Hardly ever get a chance to come in here. So I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want to get fired, don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. I got a bad feeling about this. Okay, I think this is a good time for us to go ahead and take our break. So I will see y'all in 10 minutes where I can find a BRB. Here it is. Okay, see y'all in a bit. Hello and welcome back. We're gonna be getting to scoping out Gant's office now. Wait, does he have anything else to talk about? Yeah, the chief's office. That desk on the other side of the room. Was that your sister's? Yes, that's where I was waiting for Lana. On that day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. And yet he doesn't want anyone coming in to look at it? That's a strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be on alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Oh, that's fun. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk? No one except Chief Gant, and a cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining, can there? Chief Gant. I like Gumshoe just popping up in different parts of the room like a creepy Watson. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes. I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why do you ask? You don't think... Nah, you wouldn't be. No. Stop being so coy about it. No, there's no way. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Tell us. Okay. Not on let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on! Not so fast, buddy! Oh, he didn't call us pal, that's how you know something is up. Huh? What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal. You don't just let it go at that. Sorry, this guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? Chief Gant. So this is what, so it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings. Yet. There you go, ignoring me again. I'm also like, if someone tells you don't worry about it, I am of the belief to take them at face value. Sometimes it's not a big deal, for reals, and it's no use of getting yourself and everyone all twisted up trying to figure out what they don't want to see. If it even is a problem, because more often than not it really isn't a problem. This was taken on that day 2 years ago. The day Joe Dark ran out of the questioning room and tried to kill Emma. I don't feel like that was his goal though. She just happened to be there when he showed up. Unless, but I also don't know what the unless is. After receiving his award trophy, Mr. Marshall took a picture here. Then we went along with Chief Gant to question Dark. I bet he never knew he'd be dead just a few hours later. Gee, you think? I just want to look around. I know I have a guide to tell me exactly what I need to look at, but it's nice getting environmental details, I think. These shelves are mostly empty, plus there's a lot of the goofs there in the background. Lana must have cleaned them out when she transferred over to the prosecutor's office. There's a small picture frame on the left shelf. Hey! This is when Lana and I went to that theme park. Aww. This was Lana's desk. Sure is tidy. Lana's always been a meticulous cleaner. There's not even any dust on it. Looks like someone's still keeping it clean. Does Lana ever come back here? No. Chief Gant must still keep it clean in memory of their partnership. They were the stuff legends are made of. Does he keep it in memory of her, or in memory of the crime? Look at that giant window! Makes you want to crash through it and jump outside! This is the 15th floor. I know, I was just saying. Saying what? Ever since making Detective, I've always dreamed about doing something like that. Note to self, Detective Gumshoe has a lot of dreams. As long as it doesn't go crashing through that window when he gets fired. Don't say that! Yeah, hush, Phoenix. It's kind of cute though, how Gumshoe keeps wanting to do all the heroic detective things, like what was the thing he did where he helped out Maya and did that whole just doing my job thing or whatever? He's just trying to be a good dude. Chief's organ sure is a sight to behold. Occasionally we hear him playing it from the Criminal Affairs Department. That's on the 2nd floor, and this is the 15th floor of an entirely different building. When a detective screws up, the chief calls them to his office and makes them listen to the organ for hours. What's so bad about that? Music soothes the soul. After that, the detective can't hear anything for days except for the ringing in their ears. So it's an instrument of punishment, literally. But aren't the chief's ears affected? He never listens to anyone anyway. That's beside the point. I mean, you can put earplugs in. Oopsie. I keep trying to slide and hitting tab instead of Q. Okay, there's a safe and we saw him put something in his desk. So I'm guessing that's going to be important. I'll look at the window and then the armor. Because the armor also stands out. You can see pretty far from 15 stories up. If you were to drop that suit of armor from here, at first the chief wanted to use stained glass for this window. Really? Why didn't he? They say he changed his mind because he wouldn't be able to see the view. Oh. Stained glass or not, this is a huge window. This is the real deal, isn't it? Well, this is the real deal, isn't it? This armor and those weapons? Sure is, pal. The chief doesn't care for imitations. First pipe organ, now this armor. Do you know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone into this room? What? You mean we're paying for this? I mean, you're a child, so not directly for you, but... That's it. I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes. You don't have any taxes to pay. Shh, be careful what you say. Who knows, the chief may be hiding in his armor as we speak. I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out. Cut it out. You guys don't know how scary that guy can be. Let's check the desk first. Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of that, when we were here earlier... Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. I wonder what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence. I like how we're talking about it. Gumshoe's just like already rummaging through his drawers. A list of evidence. In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this though. That's what Edgeworth was saying. Is this the same list? Oh, look at the case name! Huh? SL9 incident. I wonder what this is doing here. Hold on, detective. What did you just say? I said, I wonder what... No, about evidence lists. Normally they're twice as long. That's right. I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. A half-size list of evidence. List of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. This one Edgeworth was looking at, the one for our current case, and then the one that we found in his desk for SL9. Is that what's happening here? Oh, huh. So it's actually the second half that Edgeworth was missing is here? That's strange. What would the other half of the list be doing here? I knew it. The chief must be hiding something about that case. But they're both about SL9, but they're two halves of the same list. It would appear so. Evidence list. List of evidence the SL9 incident was ripped in half. How do you not notice? So this part's all I've got. Evidence list added to the court record. Oh, we can look at it again. Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. We found this inside the drawer. List of evidence from the SL9 incident. Mr. Edgeworth had the other half of that list. What would this list be doing here? We better look a little more into this list. Okay, let's look at it. Oh, I wasn't expecting to look at it like this. I thought it was gonna pop up. Ooh! A drawing. Didn't Emma say that she did a drawing? Wonder what this is. Looks like someone drew some kind of sketch here. What is it? Did you find something? Can't make it out. Better keep quiet about it for now. Phoenix! Huh? Oh, it's nothing. No, it's nothing. Why are your eyes moving about like that, Mr. Wright? Better not forget about this picture. Now I know why they didn't just have it text only. Okay, now let's look at the safe. This is a safe, isn't it? Safe. That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so. Looks like a code needs to be entered in this panel to open it. 7-digit number. I think I might just know what it is. I like when it was just, don't touch it! Do you know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know. You want to try my birthday? I want to know Gumshoe's birthday. Whoa. I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. I don't need to put the fingerprint powder. Oh, it's not going to make me do it. Okay. My guess, since this is Gant's office. It's a microwave! Bingo. What number did you enter? Whose birthday was that, pal? 7777777. The final ID card number on that record. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day. Oh, I forgot that that wasn't something that we had figured out yet. I just assumed it was his. You mean 777777777, that ID number? I think you're 1-7 shy this time. This can only mean one thing. That's Chief Gant's ID number. Say, anyone care to look inside? Nah, I think we can leave now. Thanks for asking, though. Is there any money in there? How much does he have stashed away anyway? How much does he have stashed away? Look, it's a shard from a broken cup. This somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? There's something else in there too. What's this? It's like a piece of leather cloth. This is a handprint, isn't it? Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up the design? I don't think so. Oh, well, it was just thought. Is that it? Is that all that was in the safe? Apparently so. It's empty now. A piece of cloth with a handprint on it, and a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. Yeah, but unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great, now I have to prove their relevancy to get them. Phoenix, I don't think that's like an outlandish thing to request of them. How are these two items related to the SL9 incident? Come on, there's gotta be something we can show the detective. I'm sure there is. Let's take a look at our handy dandy court record. Okay, but what's the other thing? Present. This one I know for sure. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? I remember when the three of us put it all back together. Ah, those were the days. Like the scent of fresh lemon. It's kinda early to be nostalgic. Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case? That's right. One of the shards had an SL9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found? You mean this one? That was in the safe? Yes, that one. That was in the safe. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Wait, were y'all just carrying the vase with you? Nah, here, let me see that shard. I'll take a crack at this. Did you just have that in the backpack? Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do. Mr. Wright, here's some glue. I can piece together. They did piece this together again. Oh, they were... He had it just in like a paper bag with all the pieces shaking around inside. He has to put it all together again. Our proved Chief Gant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here goes. No, it's still assembled. Combine. Oh, I have to rotate it first. No, that was the wrong button. I wanted to rotate it that way and then... Okay. Yay! There, it fits like a charm. That, of course, means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. I'm also excited for the second game. Is like one of my favorites that also has had a lot of fan art produced of putting a piece of evidence in his pocket that is very hilarious implications because of what the piece of evidence is. And I am excited. Chief Gant willingly... Yeah, we already read that. While I'm distracted, we have this dramatic thing happening. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident. But... Hey guys, get a load of this! What is it? This piece you just attached. It's different from the others. I like how I was able to start reading it and then they cut away. There's a reddish line on it. A reddish line. That's blood! How is it still so red after 2 years, though? I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe? Unstable jar, updated in the court record. Can we examine it? Hey, look here. It's hard to make out, but there's a dark red stain here. Looks like blood. This piece the chief has is different though. The bloodstains on the other pieces are just spots. But this one's a line. That is odd. That's all we're gonna say for now though. Probably fine. Such a strange piece of pottery. Oh, you can see through. Peekaboo. Okay. Let's get out of here. What was the other thing? The piece of leather? Nope. If I'm fired, I won't be able to give you any information. Well, that's why I have to get it all out of my system now. You understand, don't you? Don't be so negative, detective. We do want you to share your information, though. Nah, who am I fooling? I've never had anything useful to share to begin with. Got to stay positive. Okay, piece of leather with the handprint. Is it gonna be that handprint? Or do we wanna use the fingerprints on it? I don't wanna look at it. Here, show this. Detective Gumshoe, I'd like you to have a look at this. Hey, I know what that is. So you want to take some fingerprints? That's a great idea, Detective. Alright, go to town. Sheesh. Sheesh. What are you doing? Why are you sticking your hand out like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints. It's not your fingerprints we want to take. Huh? Come on, this isn't a time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth that we found in the safe. Oh, I knew that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Sheesh, where's your sense of humor? Okay, Mr. Wright, let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth, and then once they've been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away. What are you, my mom? I don't have to be told a million times. Alright, let's get this over with. Do we have to hit all of them? Oopsie. Oh, I broke it! I think I'd like to try one of the other fingerprints. Okay, let's move on to a different finger. Okay, so it's just selecting it and then... That one seemed like it was the most clear. Do you think this is enough? I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Well, it's not Gantz. Is it you? Is it you? Emma. I'm just picking the people who I knew were in this office. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No. How could this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match? Whose fingerprints were they? It seems the prints are too old. Why are you hiding all this evidence from her, Phoenix? They aren't clear enough to get a match. Like, it's gonna come up in court anyway. She's gonna know. Oh, that's too bad. I thought they'd be Drake's prints. I mean, Dark's. Oh my gosh! Psst! Hey you! Over here! What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe? Don't ask me. Let's just keep this information from Emma for now. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. Piece of cloth found in Chief Gant's safe. Evidence for something, but what bears Emma Sky's prints? Piece of cloth folded and added to the court record. I'm starting to remember some of the stuff that happened. Well, was I any help? Of course. Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. Uh-oh. Well, that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right, you in the coat? Eek! Chief Gant! We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out the window and saw a stray dog running into a pole. Then I thought of a certain detective. You mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir. Sorry. Oh, you in the coat. Me, sir. Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore. But, sir... Now, get out. Yes, sir. No! We'll be on our way out too, then. Wait. You. The one without the spiky hair. Don't go yet. Don't leave Emma with him. Oh my gosh. Me, sir? I'd like a word with you. But sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet. You with the spiky hair. You're free to go. Mr. Wright? Don't leave her! Oh my gosh, Phoenix! Phoenix! No, don't leave her. Oh my gosh, that's very upsetting. I don't like this. Look, pal, if I told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. Chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you? I know, in the childhood, do not leave Emma with him. Phoenix, don't go. Phoenix, why? Same. Oh my gosh, it's like, shaking him, throwing him off the 15-story window. No. I thought you said you didn't, I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired. Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it. And I've seen the evidence Chief Gant was hiding in his office. I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. But why has she kept eerily silent about it all this time? Anyway, you listening to me? I'm gonna try to smooth things over with the Chief again. Later, pal. Yeah, go check on Emma! Oh my gosh! After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. Phoenix! At least Gumshoe is there now. February 24th, Detention Center Visitors Room. I see. So the Chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. It's no use thinking about it. There is use in thinking about it, Phoenix! How dare you leave that child with them? Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. Really? I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. I know who it is that's lurking behind your words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth? Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe. Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. Oh my gosh, what else did Edgeworth say about me? Keeping quiet. I have to admit, I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. Apart from the witness. That's what it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say? So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No. I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, who, may I ask, is this person you're speaking of? The one I'm supposedly so frightened of? What's this person's name? Oh, there he is, right there. Well, Miss Sky. Stop spinning in your chair, Lana. Mr. Wright, you were addressing the Chief Prosecutor. not forget your place. Take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a little bit more about what you think you know? We were partners until 2 years ago. Professionally, I respected him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically, hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind a forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other, Damon Gant. So she's still trying to, like, keep his name out of things, even now. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in that case. Which one? Do they both say they're from? Yeah, they're both. I'm gonna try this one. You want proof of the Chief's wrongdoings? Here it is. That evidence proves someone is doing something wrong, alright. Me? It's not the Chief. Who would that be? Why, you, of course. Me? Yes. And then I just get a game over screen. The whole case is messed up forever. Yes, you seriously believe what you're saying, don't you? Now that's scary. I seem to have been making some criminal in you. What with all your fallacious accusations? Care to spend a night in the cell next to mine? If you ask me, you're the scary one. Okay, let's try that again. I'll look at the guide this time. Hang on. Okay. Oh man, it was the jar. I had a 50-50 shot at it, and I got it wrong. Oh no! Okay. I was like, no. And Phoenix, like, presents his badge for that. Oh, he's so funny. Also not cool. I just found this in a safe in the Chief's office. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. See, why didn't it work if I showed the cloth piece if he's showing both of them right now? Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmised. I cannot disobey the Chief's orders. Even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate. In the murder of Detective Goodman. Or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. Just as I suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered that the murder weapon... I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body. The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife that stuck in it. The knife from the SL9 incident. Serial killer Joe Dark's knife. I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That would be Edgeworth's knife? That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that's the reason for the bandage on your right hand? Yes. Seems that I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then she saw me just as I plunged a knife in. Miss Star, huh? Why did you need to hide the Dark's knife so badly? I took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that, by whatever means possible. So, you hid Dark's knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in Joe Dark's case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with that. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it. In Edgeworth's exhaust pipe. Right. Then I called my sister. To tell her what happened and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. You asked Emma? I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. That would explain why Emma is so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. Bad feeling? Truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall. To Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or at least, I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean... Not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Chief Goodman, tried to steal the evidence. There was something I kept thinking about. Let me see. I guess it is potential, but because every time I kept seeing this black and white picture, because I kind of like remembered some of the details, I would be like, oh, but the skin tone seems a little darker than it would be for Goodman, but it does match Marshall. But I don't know. It seems like it could be pretty close once it's black and white. He disguised himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal the evidence. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lana, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial is only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murderer. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. continued. But we're gonna continue it now, because my voice is still fine. And I've had to do so many short episodes and skipped one before. Yes, I would like to save. Thank you. Yes, I would like to save. February 25, 9:47 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2. This is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? Where could she be? There's Emma for that matter. Where is Emma for that matter? It almost seems... You didn't check if Emma got out from police questioning? Something's been happening behind the scenes. Who's saying this? Edgeworth! Edgeworth! Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is, that is, well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from the list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright, and Chief Prosecutor Sky will be found guilty. But she didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something. The only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright. This is it. If I'm ever gonna find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. Oh boy. Why is it dark? Oh, it's always dark before the court lights up. February 25th, 10 o'clock a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when a prosecution puts forth its opening statement. Huh? But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Oh my gosh, he's getting engaged! Chief Gant. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Chief, been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my own work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. No, is she gonna confess? In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. No! No, it's the music, that's the end of the trial. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. No! On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman. No, you didn't! In the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana! You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. Yeah, you're right. And chat with Gant has her sister. Yeah. Like whatever dirt he had on her before, it's now like quadrupled. But Lana. And I also know what it is that he has on her. Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant has a right to self-representation. The request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there is no further need to continue this trial. No, let me cross-examine our statement! Even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. Oh, unless Edgeworth objects. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Objection! Yeah! One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would be certainly immature. Premature, excuse me. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. Why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, Huh. I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. Get him, Edgeworth! With the sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh? To whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Ooh. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Oh, I half expected him to do a silent stare. Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma. Emma Skye. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark, the Joe Dark killings. Oh yeah, for sure. In chat it says the not ominous at all to say that while on a stand. For real. That's something that should have been an email. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that though. I'm sorry. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Oh man, and you know that he knows what it's like to have to dredge up those kinds of memories. Mr. Redgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. It is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Yeah, the clarification for the ominousness was Gant saying Edgeworth would live to regret this. I caught that, but reading it just in case anyone else is confused watching back the VOD. It most certainly is. Well, okay then. He sure came in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. 2 years ago, I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and then stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Just like you, Phoenix. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. Alright. Well, I didn't scoot ahead in the guide yet. Hang on. This is where I actually need it. Probably. Okay. Man came running and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me. I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Press on this one. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark, and then, just then, the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, we shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Stop! Hear more. You spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago. Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. Picture. Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about the picture. This picture the witness drew. I believe it has very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. And just be like, you mean this picture? Yeah, we'll just go ahead and present it. Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet, you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that the prosecutor for that case, as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such picture. Well, that may be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over. Turn it... Ah! I got jump scared. What is this? Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Indeed. Two men appear to be wrestling here. Wrestling. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor- oopsie, only the prosecutor in charge is supposed to be able to have that list, I assume is what he was going to say. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists pit each other to form one. You can see the marks here from where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence list in that case ever reached you. What? What? Well? Order, order. But Miss Sky, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, that means... Your Honor. Oh! I mean, I knew this before, but, yeah, I'll just let it play out first. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Mm-hmm. Because what I realized was when Gumshoe gave him that flyer with the motivational note on the back that Edgeworth didn't turn it over. And so he just never turned over this list either. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Oh no, he's camera shaking. He just did he just did the Paul Rudd meme with the I'm fine. Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing. That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. But we know that the blue badger wasn't invented yet 2 years ago. What is this? Clearly, this is an act of vandalism. This act of vandalism was the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Oh, what is it, Emma? Evidence list. List of evidence in the SL9 incident. Half of this list was found on Gant's desk. Evidence list was restored and updated on the court record. Very well. Witness. Will you please testify about this picture that you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, Your Honor. Yes, sir, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Emma's picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. Good thing it's not your job to do that, Judge. This clearly shows... No, it doesn't! This clearly shows Joe Dark about the murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. She didn't draw their faces or any discerning features. I mean... Now the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Because Emma pointed out that, wait, does she say it here? Yeah, all she could see were shadows. So it seems like that's something that the game wants us to note. Let's see. Okay, it wants us to present... Oh, yeah, because of Neil's one that got stabbed, this would have him being stabbed in the chest according to this picture, but he was stabbed in the back according to the autopsy report. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture that the witness drew contains blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? I'm assuming it's the way he's facing? Nope, I mean... I think it's what it is, but I pointed out the wrong thing. Oh, no, it's not. According to the guide, I got it wrong. I think it's, this part here? I don't see what's so strange about that. That's because the drawing stinks! Mr. Wright, how could you? Sniff. The act of making an innocent girl cry should warrant the death penalty. I guess he means I shouldn't shift the blame to others. Yes, well, so long as the defense has learned its lesson. Better take another look at the autopsy report in this picture. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. Okay. So it's actually supposed to be this. The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see the tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? The tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. I'm thinking so hard because, yeah, I'm gonna let it play out though. It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? Well, first of all, yeah, if it was already broken, it shouldn't already be in his body. And then also Lana's confession in the end of the previous trial, saying that there was forged evidence. It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah! What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. But what does this mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation of the witness is that the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence. Uh-huh. You're treading on thin ice, Wright. All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Ugh. Because wasn't the thing that Marshall was saying is that the thing that was up for debate was the murder weapon? Order, order, order. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place on the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there was a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. That's true. And there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? Yes, there is. One that was stricken from everything 2 years ago. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright, in that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. Wait, which thing do I present? Because I know what it is, but there's like two things I can think of for presenting. Okay. It's gonna be this. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here, inside this picture. This picture is this picture of the award. This is a picture of the award ceremony. Ah! Ah! Jump scared. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Order, order, order! Neil Marshall was awarded the King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he was chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh? And why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, the man raising the knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back? I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. All this time, I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you recalled, Miss Skye? Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up, now the blue badger? This should be interesting. Emma's recollection. Are you following along? Because this is where things are getting all topsy-turvy. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. And then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. This is certainly most unusual. Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may cross-examine— Stop, please! Don't pursue this any further. Lana, what's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. You can't just leave. Why can't you just leave it like at that? Chief Prosecutor Sky. You've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Now I'm like scrolling ahead to see it's like, oh, okay. I might try to finish off this section because it looks like we're getting close to this part. And then there's, oh man, but then is that gonna make the second part too short, or like next week too short? I guess if we finish next week early, when wrapping up this case, we can just start on the next game, and that should be fine. So we'll just go ahead and keep going and see where we're at when we get to 5. But I don't know. There's a possibility we might go a little over, depending on how it goes. Emma's recollection. Okay. So we need... pressing on this? Yes. His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with his winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. That may well be. What's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation. If so, by all means tell us what this shadow really was. What was it that Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this blue badger really? I just might know. Blue badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Is she certain she saw its shadow? Ladies and gentlemen, it's the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright. In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw then, in that instant? Please show us this mysterious blue badger look-alike. So this was something I remember struggling with whenever I've played it. And that because of how much struggle it was burned into my memory. Similarly to Emma, I guess. The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's... what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? With our new DS technology, our viewpoint. Gotta show them the correct angle to look at this form. Good, there we go. Wait, is that good enough? No, not quite. Allow me to remind you the defense hinges on this. Wait, let me go back and do it. I'm not even gonna rate it. Cause is there a way to like rotate it? Okay, there is a rotate right and left button. Hang on. No, shoot! I didn't want to do that. I was trying to hit R. How many penalties can I take? Oh, they knew this was going to be hard and didn't even penalize you for it. Wait, which way was it? Okay. Now let me make sure I'm on the right keys. How? There we go. But then need a little bit of that tippy top. That's not quite. Because it doesn't have the curve. Okay, don't press E, press R. Is this close enough? No? Okay. Oh, okay, I see. I'm gonna... I need it to be in the opposite side. I need it to be... this way. Whee! There we go, that's a lot better. Like, there we go. That looks like a blue badger if I've ever seen one. Hopefully they agree. Yup. Okay. Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the blue badger. No. It can't be. Order, order. The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this. Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that badger thing actually was just a jar. That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Wedgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed. Very well then. Please tell us. What's different now that we know this, the witness saw this jar? This is interesting. What would this have changed? I'm curious if the chat has a guess. Cause I was like, and then the guide says, ha ha, and I'm like, oh. I'll take a sip of water. I'm also reading ahead while looking. Give me just a second. Chat guesses the murder weapon. Let's try it. Because of the blood. Oh wait, no. Too late, I've already chosen it. Allow me to take these in turn. Location. Ooh, what makes you think it's the location? I'm gonna keep reading while. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. Chat says because the jar was in the back of that picture. Oh, like the photo from the awards? This is true, this is true. The witness saw this jar. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, might I add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in this picture on the day of the crime. It's on the shelf in the office of Damon Gant. Whispers! All three of them were the right answer. It's a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it's these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying that the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall? Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to the picture once more. If the man was knocked into the direction of the shelf on the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes. There is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually prosecutor Neil Marshall, you mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. I'm not crying, you're crying. What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Sky, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. And we also know that Lana was supposedly the first one on the scene. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? We do. I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. I certainly can't get dead people to testify. Not this time, anyway. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Huh. Touché, Miss Sky. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean the possibility that the victim left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one manner or another. That's impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? Also, yes, from what he's implying. I've got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind. Why is this all lowercase? Oh, because it's finishing the sentence. Yeah, we have it. Have multiple pieces of evidence supporting this. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek: the truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. Well, it sure seems strange that there are the lines drawn on this. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? Oh, this is just going to speak the killer's name? That thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here, on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. Looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there is a line here, drawn in blood. So what you're saying is these dots were once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used a few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. And no. Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. We gotta connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim could have written, given the circumstances. Sorry, I was scrolling ahead in the guide. The murderer's name. Okay, I'm using my mouse for this. Wait, how do I do this? Click. Wait. Wait, how much do I need? Sorry. Do I need to connect this too? Oh, I just present it now. It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. Seaworthy. Can't say I didn't warn you. Chief Gant, do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't defenders of justice. What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, responsibility falls on a prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death. How can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order, 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 order! The gavel's pounding fell upon deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where the trial is headed, no one knows. To be continued. Yippee! feel like next time I stream it's gonna be pretty short. Looking ahead to what we have left. But we'll see. But yeah, I see in chat, where I says with the coming out with Emma pushing him into the thing. With, I'm not crying, you're crying. Chat teared up a bit too. And then I was also wondering that with the cloth, because that was the evidence I thought that was going to be pulled, but I guess it's not. It's going to be used for something else, I guess. Because there are still some details where I'm like, Um, and then the yay with the question marks and so many twists. Yeah, it's like in a way it's kind of fun, but it's also very difficult to navigate this case because of all the twists and stuff. Like here, let me make sure I actually save. But yeah, oh my goodness. We're almost done with this case, and that also means we're almost done with Ace Attorney 1. Part of me is also like, what if I just did a little mini stream tomorrow or something just to finish it off? But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Alright, I don't know. I'm all excited now because it's like uh, all the hype from coming up from getting to the end of this um, whole case is very exciting, even though it's so wild. Uh, but yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out. Um, Going along on all the twists and turns um, as we reach like the final act of this case. Next time, whenever I dip back in, I'll post on social media whenever I decide. We'll be finishing this up, and then I think once it's finished up, it's gonna be we're gonna go back to Cowboy Land with Red Dead Redemption 1. Um, so yeah, I went to look at my calendar and realize I still need to change it out to this year's because it's just the end of my last calendar with January 2025. Yeah, everything should still be on schedule with that. Um, yeah, so whenever that is, if it's tomorrow or next week, I will see y'all next time. Bye bye. Whoopsie, sorry. I scrolled on the thing. Okay, bye bye.